Welcome to News Today. In the next hour, government deploys 2 contractors to begin reconstruction of collapsed bridge linking the northeast region major road to the southern part of the country after heavy rains last Wednesday. Relative calm returns to Tuobodom after confusion erupts in the NPP and NDC executives in the community over who takes credit for installing a traffic light at a junction known for notorious vehicular knockdowns. We have details. And in our build-up to the NPP primaries, 2-time contender for the Ododo parliamentary seat, Niilante Bannerman has vowed to snatch the seat from the NDC's Niilante Vanderpoy in the 2024 election. Details including that of several other hopefuls in their constituencies as the big day draws closer. Also, minority demands parliamentary approval for decision by ECOWAS to activate a standby force that will deploy the military into the Republic. We have details of these and more, including business, sports, world news, and showbiz. Don't go away. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. Let's go into the details now. Governor. Ranking Member of Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa, is calling for Parliament to reconvene over the decision by ECOWAS to activate a standby force that will deploy the military into the Republic of Niger to restore constitutional order after presidential guard in the West African country toppled democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum. After a summit yesterday in Abuja, President Akufo-Addo and other West African leaders ordered their military commanders to commence necessary actions to that effect. But Ranking Member on Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa, says President Akufo-Addo must subject the decision of ECOWAS to parliamentary scrutiny. We'll hear from him shortly. First, let's share with you that aspect of the resolution which talks about the military action. Now, it says that direct the President of the Commission to monitor the implementation of the sanctions. 2, direct the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff to immediately activate the ECOWAS standby force with all its elements. Three, order the deployment of the ECOWAS standby force to restore unconstitutional order in the Republic of Niger, underscore its continued commitment to the restoration of constitutional order through peaceful means. We can now hear from Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa, who is demanding a parliamentary approval before any such action is taken on behalf of Ghana.
Any equivocation that we condemn the approach of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. They should have subjected all of these matters to a full-blown parliamentary debate. Look at what is happening even in Nigeria. Despite the president's decision, the Senate is debating these matters and even departing from the president's decision. Other countries are subjecting this major decision to a parliamentary debate, a parliamentary vote for a parliamentary resolution. That is what is done in a democracy. Why is it that President Akufo-Addo, he just gets off and he goes there communicating a Ghanaian position? How did he arrive at that Ghanaian position? Has there been a debate? Has there been national consensus? Has there been a certain bipartisan approach? No. That is why in the statement that the NDC put out yesterday, signed by the General Secretary, we are calling on the President to come back to Ghana, come to Parliament, that's where the people's representatives are. Let's have a debate, and then we can know what really the Ghana position is and what direction we should take as a country. As it is now, it is only the President who purports to be, and you see the irony is that you are going out there to lecture others on democracy. But in your country, back at home, you are not following democratic tenets. democracy demands that such major, look, we are talking about deployment of troops. Soldiers can be killed. They are not going to, for a tea party.
Meanwhile, ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament, James Agaga, says Parliament will turn down any attempt to commit Ghana's military to an intervention in Niger. Speaking on the AM show, the legislator and former Deputy Minister of Interior said the double standards of the leadership of ECOWAS has not sent the right signals to its member countries.
Just like the Nigerian Senate turned down President Tinubu in his quest to go to war, the Ghanaian Parliament would do same. We shall turn down President Akufo-Addo if this matter comes up before Parliament. And that is what we're pushing for. Number two, first of all, let me address the issue of sanctions quickly and return to the question you just posed. Look, you think that sanctions in this case would work? I have my doubts. Even if ECOWAS continues on that path of maintaining the sanctions that have so far been imposed, the entire sub-region is going to be, involved in the, if you like, domino effects of such a move. Take, for instance, Ghana. We rely heavily on Niger for onions. And the other day I heard the Onion Association complain bitterly that following the imposition of sanctions, most of the trucks that usually cut onions from Niger to Ghana got stranded along the Benin-Togo border. And immediately in this country, prices of onions shot up. Now, I am not too sure that the border remains closed because there was some opening. The truckers managed to leave the area and cut onions to this country. So that in itself is an indication that sanctions wouldn't work because the economies of Benin, Togo, and even Ghana would suffer. We have been very clear that, look, let us engage in negotiations. Okay. Let us use diplomacy to prevail upon.
But they are not allowing diplomats to even come into the country.
Yes, it is because of the posturing. The initial posturing of ECOWAS wasn't in good taste. So the junta, I am told, were apprehensive of the fact that there was a likelihood that some intelligence people were embedded in the ECOWAS delegation and would spy on them if they were to allow them into their country.
Government has begun the reconstruction of the bridge that collapsed on the Niger Coup road as a result of torrential rain in the northeast region. The collapse of the bridge has rendered the road inaccessible, leaving hundreds of travelers and public workers stranded, with socio-economic activities in the region coming to a halt. Speaking to the media after a tour of the affected areas, the Deputy Roads and Highways Minister, Stephen Jalula, said government has employed 2 contractors to construct a steel bridge as a stopgap measure to reduce the plight of commuters plying the road. Correspondent Ilyasu Tanko has more.
Wednesday, torrential rain caused a massive flood in the northeast region, which has been described as unprecedented by the National Disaster Management Organization in the region. According to the Disaster Management Organization in the region, a total of 62 communities in 4 districts were affected, with more than 10 major roads, hundreds of farm crops and houses destroyed. NADMO says health services have been suspended in some of the affected communities, and there is a risk of disease outbreak as sources of drinking water are polluted and sanitation facilities collapsed by flood water. Although the torrential rain caused severe destruction across the region, the Wale-Nalerugu road suffered the most devastation as a result of the collapse of the dam in the Tinguri and Gbani communities. The collapse of the dam has cut off access to and from the regional capital and grounded vehicular movement as well as socio-economic activities. With no alternative route, despite Street travelers and motorists are still risking their lives to reach their destinations.
I'm going to Niger. They brought us here with a motor from where we stopped to this place. They took 5 city and the crossing to 5 city. So that's things. I'm a student.
Okay.
So I went. My mom was not here, and I'm also a candidate. We didn't need the government a lot. It's like every year that's what is happening. And I've been there for almost 3 years. I've been experiencing this all the time.
3, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Let's pass it. Let's pass it. Go the other side. We're actually coming from Niger ambulance station. As a result of the heavy downpour yesterday, a room fell on that patient. It's called Elijah at Nanson, that is the Ilu district. We were called to respond to that. Upon reaching there, we assessed the patient and realized that he was having a femur fracture. We immobilized it and brought the patient to BMC yesterday, but we couldn't proceed. This afternoon, we needed to transport the patient to Bongo to meet a bone specialist. But because of the wash away of the bridge, we can't cross. We had to arrange with our partner station, that is Wale ambulance station, to stand at the other side of the water. So we also brought the patient all the way from BMC. We alighted on the roof. On foot, we carried the patient and crossed the water and delivered the patient to the Wale ambulance station so that they can also proceed to Bongo to meet the patient.
In response, officials from the Ministry of Roads and Highways arrived in the region to assess the state of the damaged roads caused by the heavy downpour. The team was led by the Deputy Minister Stephen Jalula in the company of the Chief Director and engineers of the ministry. After touring the affected roads, the Deputy Minister announced the start of work for the construction of a steel bridge to facilitate the movement of goods and people on the road as a temporary measure.
We came along with very formidable contractors, Marioma Enterprise Limited and Maus Construction Limited. These are local contractors, but who have got a pedigree in construction. So we are here with them and work has even started. What we are going to do at this particular spot, temporary, is for us to create a temporary bridge, still bridge that we call Midday bridge, downside of the road, so that vehicles and people can cross. Then the main road where the bridge was has been washed off. We have to put some boulders there to cover the road, and that will take time. The reason why we are doing the temporary bridge, and the temporary bridge is going to take about 2 weeks to be constructed.
The minister said as part of the immediate measures, processes have begun to facilitate the construction of the Mimimak-Parugud-Nasia road to serve as an alternative route. The regional minister, Idana Zakari, announced that plans were in place to rehabilitate all dams found along the road.
So on the whole, I think that 2 things will be done. The road will be constructed, and then also the dam will also be reconstructed. We also want to consider the case at Langbisi, where the dam nearly also burst its banks, the same as the dam in America.
Mr. Idana also expressed his sympathy to residents and travelers and called for calm and patience for the work to proceed.
We need to have patience, but if we rush over it, we may not produce the quality product that we want. So I know that our people are very supportive, and so they should continue to be patient. By the close of the month, they themselves would have seen the progress of work done so far.
A member of parliament for Nalirgu Gambaga, Alhaji Baba Seidu Isifu, thanked the government for the quick response, but called for the National Disaster Management Organization to be supported with adequate resources to respond to the victims of the flood.
I want to use this medium to also say that NADMO must be resourced enough to take care of this situation. It is not a normal situation for them. They've never handled a situation like this before. So we should not say that they are already around and they can do it. They need more support. They need more logistics. They need the energy to will be able to give some interventions so that people will have some amount of relief.
Yasu Tanko reporting from Parugu for Joy News.
There's relative calm in Chobodom after a near clash between supporters of the two major political parties over whose efforts led to the installation of a traffic light in the district capital, with both the Member of Parliament and the DC for the area claiming to have done the bidding. Residents are, however, excited that after a long wait, the contractor has been given the green light to mount the unit of traffic, which according to them would minimize pedestrian knockdowns in the area. Anasabit has the rest of the story.
Mr. Speaker, whilst we are at Techiman North, let me take this opportunity to say a very big thank you to the Minister for Roads for acceding my request for traffic light for the people of Chobodom.
This was the Member of Parliament for Techiman North on the floor of Parliament in July 2022, asking the Roads Minister when the contractors fixing the Chobodom traffic light will return to complete a job half done.
The contractors are halfway through. There are no more there. I hope that the minister will let the contractors come back so that the accident at that intersection will be a thing of the past. But I'm really grateful to you for bringing the contractors in the first place. So when are they coming, Honourable Minister?
Roads Minister Amwako Atta in return assured the Member of Parliament that his ministry will ensure that the project will be completed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, traffic light issues are part of safety issues on our road, and again, due consideration will be given, and once started, my ministry will ensure that it will be completed.
There has since been back and forth within the district capital over whose efforts actually led to the installation of these traffic lights. On Wednesday, August 8th this year, the DCE was seen blocking the Techiman-Tamale highway as he attempts to deny the contractor and the MP access to the project site. This resulted into clash between supporters of the NPP and that of the NDC within the constituency. It took the police timely intervention to save the situation. 48 hours later after this unfortunate incident, the regional minister, after having a closed-door meeting with both the Member of Parliament and the DCE, led the contractor to complete this project under contention. Here is the Borno East Regional Minister, Kwesi Edujan, indicating that the DCE within the later part of the year 2021 requested for the installation of traffic lights in the area.
Latter part of 2021, there was a letter documentation from the Assembly headed by the District Chief Executive, indicating issues and then traffic difficulties over here. Hence, he called for the installation of traffic lights. This has been followed up to today. This equipment came yesterday and were handed over to the District Chief Executive for execution. But the situation has been very chaotic. So I've come today to let the people understand that it is the government of Ghana being led by the District Chief Executive to ensure that the people of Chobodom are safe and secure.
Now, two-time contender for the Ododudu parliamentary seat, Nilanti Banaman, has vowed to snatch the seat from the NDC's Nilanti Vanderpoy in the 2024 elections. Addressing the media after filing his nomination to contest for the third time, Mr. Banaman said he is the man with enough experience to secure the Ododudu seat for the party.
Having won the 2019 primaries with 543 votes, Nilante Banama is confident the upcoming election is a done deal for him. The former chairperson of the National Premix Committee contests for the third time against Manaf Soa. Despite losing the seat to the NDC's Nilante Vanderpoel with over 6,000 votes in the 2020 general elections, he believes he has enough experience for a better shot this time.
Having contested for 3 times, I have enough experience to know what to do and what not to do. And I can tell you, it will be difficult for me to tell you what is up my sleeves. But I can assure you that we are very poised to win the seat. In fact, the primaries you are saying it is a done deal for me. It is true, but I'm not going to be complacent because every election has its own dynamics. So I'm not going to be complacent. I will approach these elections like any elections I have been to. I'm not going to be complacent. I know I'm going to win by a wide margin, but I'm not going to be complacent.
Receiving the nomination on behalf of the party, constituency chairman Samuel Boedi urged the candidate to maintain a clean campaign devoid of insults.
We are telling them that they should do a clean campaign. They should desist from insults because always the insult bring division among in the party. Because if somebody is supporting other candidate left and you are supporting right, we are all having only one party. And after that, we are going to sell all of them. Anyone that wins the seat, become the winner, emerge as a winner, he is going to be the one that we are going to sell. And also, we want us to be united. And we don't want to spend much time to do reconciliation. Rather, we need that time to do campaign. So that's why I'm telling my delegates that they should do clean and fair campaign in Ododo because it is high time we have to desist from that. People know Ododo as a violence area and this and that. But now we are changing that narratives from the people.
In line with the chairman's directive, Nilante Bannerman urged all supporters to help him emerge victorious with a united MPP for Victory 2024 in the Ododo constituency.
I wish to tell my delegates that at the end of the day, we are one people. We shouldn't, I want to support what my chairman said, that we are one people. We should eliminate insults. We should eliminate fights. We should eliminate all form of acrimony from our campaign. Campaign cleanly and go for the elections. I believe strongly that Ododo MPP will choose Nilante Banama to lead it once again into election 2024. And this time around, we are going to take the seat from Ododo NDC. This time around, we are going to take the seat from the NDC. I can assure you.
Whether Nilante Bannerman will be the best candidate to snatch the Ododo seat from the NDC in the 2024 elections, that remains to be seen. James Kwesi Avege's report read to you.
As students who have applied for admission into the Regentrofen College of Applied Sciences in the Upper East region this year had the opportunity to write an examination to qualify for scholarships of between 30% to 100% of their tuition fees. Gestures like these are the reason the founder of the college, Reverend Father Moses Awinonja, is a winner of the JoyNews Impact Makers Award. He has been announcing the scholarship opportunities shortly after returning to his home community of Kasonamo in the Bongo district, where the college is located. Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
The Regentrofen College of Applied Sciences, also known as RECAS, is a private tertiary institution accredited by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission and affiliated to the University for Development Studies. It was founded by Reverend Father Moses Awinonja, who recently won a JoyNews Impact Makers Award for his contribution to education. Since its inception in the year 2016, the Regentrofen College of Applied Sciences, located at Kansoinamu in the Bongo district, has awarded hundreds of scholarships to students who gained admission into the institution. This year, the college is again offering the opportunity for students who gain admission to study various courses to also gain scholarships of 30, 50, 70, and even 100% on their tuition fees. Reverend Father Moses Awinongya explains.
The source of funding, as I said, we've given formally the two main sources of funding from the foundation, the Regentrofen Education Foundation, and then you then have the college itself, given the opportunity, knowing that it is a reduction or it's a deliberate loss being created, but we're saying that we are taking on this deliberate loss. So we're giving the students the opportunity to gain admission and to gain knowledge, and with the knowledge Ghana will gain. And so even if we are not gaining directly in terms of money, we will be gaining because also you are building the manpower of the country. And this is also part of our achievement of our people-centered philosophy.
Students will have the opportunity to write the scholarship exams in Accra, Tamale, Bolgatanga, Navrongo, and on the college campus at Kansoinamu in the Bongo district, all on the 19th of August 2023.
We can comfortably manage from our space here 300 to 400 students. Why? Because we insist on small classroom numbers. So even if a program has more than 50 students, we have to divide into two, so that two lecturers will take, so that the contact between the students and lecturers is intensive. Otherwise you are bringing in a lot of people into, and then the lecturer is standing there. He cannot take assignments, he cannot give project work, he cannot run seminars for them, and so at the end of the day you are not able to get the real results that you want. And so we insist on small classroom numbers or lecture hall numbers, and because of that we can say that comfortably we can manage for now this year 300 to 400 students, and we have no problem because of the number of staff we have. Anybody who applies this year, whether the person has got an admission letter already or not, qualifies to still come in and sit in for the examination. So all of them.
The programs on offer here at RECAS include diplomas and degrees in computer science, business administration, accounting, agriculture for social change, and basic education. For the 2023-2024 academic year, the Regentrofen College of Applied Sciences is also introducing courses in general nursing and public health nursing. For Joy News, Albert Sori, Kansoinamu, Bongo District.
The Asante Museum, built in honor of the brave female warrior of the Asante Kingdom, now sits contrary to the dignity attached to her name. The structure was in 2024 gutted by fire, with no established cause for the inferno, which destroyed artifacts by the Queen Mother. But several governmental promises to have the structure facelifted have only seen slow-paced rehabilitation works to have the tourist site open to the public. Emmanuel Bright-Kweku has more.
Like many abandoned projects littered across the country, the Asante Museum has suffered similar fate after the initial structure was razed by fire in 2004. Some of the rare relics, including the war garments of the brave queen, were destroyed by the fire. The Asante Museum was originally constructed in 2000 by the former First Lady, Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings, as a gift to the natives of Ejiso. Frank Bedu Sampini is coordinator for the museum.
Yeah. Because Rawlings family had named a daughter after Nana Asante. So they fully sponsored the facility in 2000. And then 2004, it got gutted by fire. And then a committee was put in place to investigate into why the place got burnt. And then the white paper reports could not seriously pinpoint certain individuals who were, so to speak, alleged culprits.
Almost 2 decades after the incident, the tourist attraction is still not open to the public. In 2022, Tourism Minister Dr. Ibrahim Awal Mohammed hinted at completing rehabilitation works at the site by the first quarter of 2023.
All this will complete in the first quarter of next year.
Months after the promise, the project has not seen any definite facelift. The Yasanto Museum is expected to have facilities depicting the home of the Queen, rooms, kitchen, and other auxiliary cubicles to attract patronage.
The inner rooms, the doors are not fixed. Some tiling work, but we don't want to do the tiling in a modern tiling style. We want to do it in a traditional setting. Some rooms where we'll keep Nana Santua items that she was using then, her stool and her cooking items, her wall cloth, and some other stuff.
But funding for the project is challenging.
The major issue has to do with funding, because the fundraising and other activities we did, we couldn't raise much. So then Koswahini took upon himself to single-handedly foot greater part of the renovation bills. In fact, he's done so much work, the roofing and then some interior works that we are doing. He's even proposed that some of the items will be brought elsewhere. Some of the items got bent when the whole incident happened. So we currently have to improvise most of the items.
You're watching JoyNews Today. Business is up next after this break.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The Public Procurement Authority has warned of possible punitive measures for businesses operating with government but failed to sign on to the Ghana electronic procurement system. The authority is asking the businesses to register or face some challenges in their line of operations. According to Deputy Chief Executive Officer Kwame Prempeh, this move is to reduce procurement infractions. He spoke to Joy Business at a lecture on the overview of the Ghana electronic procurement system organized by the Ghana Institution of Engineering.
The authority says it seeks to ensure fairness, transparency, and non-discrimination in public procurement in order to promote a competitive local industry.
Businesses, that do business with government. So this is the matter of those that participate in public procurement. At this moment, we are practicing manual public procurement, right? But the country is moving from manual to electronic procurement. So in that case, all suppliers, consultants, and consultants who offer their services and their goods to government must be on the system to be able to continue to provide this service to government. Because if you are not on the system and the entity is not allowed to do manual procurement, then you cannot respond. So that is why it is key for all entities or all suppliers that work with government to register with PPA first and foremost, and then we ensure that you will be on the system, you will get your user credentials to be able to log in, then you can partake in any public procurement that you desire to partake in.
President for the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Kobina Bempon, however, urged the authority to deepen stakeholder consultation.
When it comes to procurement in general, the underlying word has to be fairness, value for money, and to ensure that there's transparency. Now, if these things get missing, then the integrity of the procurement process becomes questionable, and therefore we do not get the value that we require from the process. And we should also understand that this is the money that belongs to all of us, and therefore we should be interested.
The lecture was to delve into challenges confronting businesses and state agencies in relation to the Ghana electronic procurement system.
Now, oil marketing firm Star Oil has been ranked among the top 3 firms in the industry. This is based on analysis by the National Petroleum Authority on product sales ending April this year. Here's more in this report.
The top 3 spots Joy Business understands has been traditionally held by Goil, Shell and Total Energies. However, it appears that is changing. National Petroleum Authority data on products sold by the over 100 oil marketing firms showed that there has been some shift in the market. Goil has the top spot in the country with a market share of 18.50%. It is followed by Shell, now Vivo, with 8.51% of the market. New entrants to the top 3, Star Oil has 8.12%, Total Energies now occupies the fourth spot with a market share of 8.01%. It is followed by Zen Petroleum. Puma occupies the sixth position. For some industry analysts, they are linking the Star Oil's strong pickup to its pricing strategy over the past few months. In some cases, Star Oil has sold its products at the pumps significantly lower than its peers in the country. The new data from the National Petroleum Authority shows that Goil, Shell, Star Oil, Total, and Zen now make up the top 5 oil marketing companies.
More business news on the marketplace. Sports is up next.
Let's do sports now on JoyNews Today with me, Muftao Nabila Abdullah. Just a couple of minutes ago, President of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Okreko, filed his nomination for a second opportunity to lead the football governing body. Former Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, Mr. George Afriyie, we understand, has also filed his nomination form. The two had to pay about 50,000 Ghana cedis to secure nomination forms for the GFA presidential elections, which is slated for September 27 in Tamale. Kurt Okreko was voted president of the Ghana Football Association in October 2019, and he's seeking for an opportunity for a second tenure as head of the football governing body in Ghana. George Afriyie, who lost the elections in 2019, is seeking to defeat Kurt Okreko and also ascend to the throne as head of football in Ghana. This is our wrap-up sports here on JoyNews Today with me, Muftao Nabila Abdullah. You can head on to my joyonline.com for some more sports stories. Up next.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews Today. Now, musician Black Sherif on Thursday released a project which has gotten social media talking, and he calls it Take Care of Yourself, Blacko, off the back of his debut, The Villain I Never Was album. This new one is already being tipped as another set that looks to take the music scene to another level. My colleague Kenneth Darkon tells us more.
Becky, this project first showed up on the radar back in June, where Black Sherif won the Vodafone Ghana Music Award Artist of the Year, where he also announced that there was going to be an EP later this year, which is titled at the time KK Pack. Now, weeks and months passed, not much was heard about it, but finally, after some expectations, the project is out. But this time it has, a very interesting name, which is Take Care of Yourself, Blacko, which has garnered a lot of, attention on social media today. Now, another interesting thing about this project today is that he exhibits his alter ego, which he calls Yaya KK, and this alter ego makes its way onto one of the songs on the the 2-track EP, where he calls it Yaya, and there he exhibits a lot of dexterity when it comes to his struggles and turning them into wins, and also using this as encouragement for other people who are in his space as well. Now, if you have followed music, this gentleman's trajectory, the 21-year-old Black Sherif, you would realize that a lot of analysts have placed him between a high life artist and a hip hop artist. Now, this song titled Simmer Down, which is the second one on the 2-track EP, is where he displays a lot of this skill that analysts have touted of him being one of the people who are able to blend the high life genre and the hip hop culture in a very seamless manner. These songs have basically generated a lot of conversation on social media. He himself has tweeted that this is an era that you are witnessing when it comes to his craft himself, and looks like a lot of his fans on social media kind of agree with that, because I received a lot of warm compliments amongst others. But there are some others who are also raising concern about the fact that Black Sherif likes to make mention of a certain substance that is kind of frowned upon by most people in these parts where we come from. And so the reaction have been mixed. But Black Sherif does not seem perturbed about these criticisms, because he has been tweeting a lot about how much he loves the project himself. Now, if he, the artist, says that is what makes the music right, I mean, there's not much that we can do about it as fans. And so, Becky, Black Sherif says, take care of yourself. Over to you.
Away from Black Sherif, soul live singer Biana has revealed why she was emotional in her song Idunli. Musician, in an interview on Joy Prime, said the song was inspired by her first heartbreak, which she experienced in 2015. According to her, the lyrics were developed during that period.
Adunle was inspired by heartbreak.
You chop breakfast?
My first breakfast. Yeah, right, 2015. So as I chopped that thing went into my head. I was holding my guitar and all.
Right.
But I do recall that it was, I wanted to write it creatively enough that when it's criticized, people will not actually get the storyline like a heartbreak or something. So this is the irony to the whole thing.
Okay.
So when I was a child, I used to eat achukwikwi a lot, and in Ghana it's called adunle.
Adunle, yeah.
So that's achukwikwi. It was very difficult to chew. So this was the feeling that I had. As it was difficult to chew, you eat like you take it small, you just put it down, then you take it. So I felt like in this relationship that I was, the person was just anytime he likes, he would just pick me up, eat me up, and put me down, that kind of thing. So that was it.
So he was treating you like Adunle?
Like that thing. Yeah.
On that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News. There's more Showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Becky.
And that's it for our bulletin this afternoon. We brought you business, sports, and showbiz. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson.